You're tuned to The Drive on your 24/7 home of the black and gold. Steelers Nation Radio.
Good afternoon, Steelers Nation, and welcome to The Drive on the Steelers Audio Network. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you here for the next 2 hours on a Wednesday, as we have plenty to get to, as always. Kind of the day after a big day across the National Football League. It's a little quiet today,
Oh,
Matt.
it is. Yeah, it always is after a day like that. Yeah, it's funny.
Like one of the old cliches is like the worst day of sports talk radio is in the middle of the summer, the day after the Major League Baseball All-Star game. You know?
Oh, okay, yeah. There's
nothing going on. There's no
yeah.
baseball. There's no nothing. It's like the middle of July. I guess today is maybe kind of the equivalent of that for the NFL.
By NFL standards, yeah.
By NFL
right.
standards, which is rarely quiet. And we still have plenty to get to, though. We will talk to our buddy Chris Halleck here in just a few minutes, get his thoughts on all the moving and shaking around the league yesterday, and, of course, any pertinent Steelers injury updates. It is a Wednesday, so we will also go around campus. We will also do a little best of the West. Plenty to get to here, Matt, as we roll along. But I wanted to start, typically Tuesday we do like a Tuesday rewind, where it's kind of maybe some final observations from the previous game. You had a chance to go back and watch it and dissect it and all that stuff. We didn't do Tuesday rewind yesterday because it was such a jam-packed day.
It was a pretty busy day,
with the NFL trade deadline. So, I don't know, Wednesday rewind, if you want to call it, or just a couple minutes here of one thing that I did want to run by you. And that was that I found it very odd when I went back and watched the game that if you look on paper, if you just look at the stat sheet, the Steelers were not successful at all running the football.
No, real bad. Like one of the worst rushing performances any team had all year.
And maybe their worst of the season.
Yeah.
But if you go back and watch the tape, I really liked what I saw from the offensive line.
Oh, yeah, I thought it was a good O-line day.
So it's bizarre for me. It's hard to kind of evaluate in that regard because I thought it was a good O-line day, particularly for that right side of the offensive line.
Yeah, it's humming.
From Frazier, McCormick, and Faltanu, those guys all look like they're on the same page and playing really well. They were good in pass protection, didn't quite translate to the run game, but that's just kind of what I wanted to pick your brain about because, like I said, it was weird to me because if you just watch the tape, those guys, they're picking up stunts in pass pro. They're moving bodies in the run game.
Yeah.
But it didn't translate to a successful rushing attack for the Steelers.
No, it didn't. And some of it was volume. They didn't run the ball as much as I would have liked. And that goes back to the second half of the Packers game as well. I have no complaints with them, but I think everyone shouldn't be immune to criticism. Warren didn't break as many tackles as he usually does or make as many guys miss as he usually does. So be it. That doesn't concern me at all. But yes, I think the O-line's in a really good spot. Faltanu, to me,
cool.
The more you watch him, he just jumps off the page. I mean, he's going to be a really good player and is really starting to settle in at right tackle and, playing a lot of games in a row after a slow start to his career because of injury stuff. I think we know who Frazier is. You're right about McCormick. Jones is better than he was. You know what I mean?
Totally.
Like, they still do so I know we're going to talk about like O-line ranks and things like that, and I want to, but some people, rightfully so, will say, well, the Steelers have it easier than most teams pass protection-wise because the ball comes out so quick and Rodgers is so good, and that's 1,000% true. I can't argue that one bit. And I will also say Jones has it a little easier than the rest of the line because I think they recognize he's the weakest link, and if they're going to help or if they're going to do anything, it's to make his life easier. But that's what every team does. You know what I mean? Not then when it's 5 Pro Bowls.
You're trying to minimize your weaknesses.
Yeah, exactly.
Or
that's coaching,
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe calling it a weakness is a little bit too much of a stretch, but you get what I'm saying.
The weakest spot.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You don't have your ninth best hitter hitting fourth in your lineup.
Right. There's a reason for these
for the
things.
Dodgers or the Blue Jays or whatever. So I think it makes a lot of sense in that regard. You did send me Brandon Thorne here mid-season offensive line grades, one of the guys that we like in his evaluations in the trenches.
He's the best O-line guy out there.
I think so, too.
Yeah.
I think so, too. He's got the Steelers as the 11th best offensive line in football right now with a solid grade is what he gives. So there's like elite, there's very good, there's solid.
Different tiers, yeah.
There's like below average, and so he's got them 11th overall.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's,
you'll take it.
You will take that all day.
Yeah.
Because I think if they're going to go one way from there, too, it's only going to be up.
I think so, assuming health, knock on wood.
Sure.
I mean, and they are fortunate that they, unlike the upcoming opponent, they've started the same 5 every game, and that's absolutely huge, as we know. And I do worry about the depth a little bit more than I do in previous years. We haven't had, other than Anderson. But, so be it. The other thing that happened today, too, is I don't love Pro Football Focus's O-line stuff.
Okay.
But when Brandon emailed me his list, I'm like, I wonder where PFS, because I know they always keep up with it too. You said they're 11th on Thorns?
On Thorns.
They were 9th in Pro Football Focus.
Okay, so not too far off.
I mean, if you're in that 10 neighborhood, I think you take that all day long for considering the age of this group and the experience of this group. And it's clearly trending the right direction. Now, since we have that up, I think it's worth noting the Chargers.
Yeah. Now, you talk about injuries.
It's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
Right.
But they are way
Keep
down
scrolling,
the list
dude.
here. Keep scrolling. My goodness, they've got them all the way down in Tier 5, 32nd.
32nd.
Out of 32 teams in the National Football League. The Chargers line has been decimated by injuries. And now Joe Alt is out for the season due to an ankle injury. This in addition to Mekhi Becton, Trey Pipkins, and even Bobby Hart dealing with injuries.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know Rashawn Slater went down before the season, before it even started.
And PFF had them like 30th or something, right?
If they're healthy, they might be third.
Oh,
they might be first.
They build it right. It's just, I always feel for GMs from that way because the perfectly laid plans, and it's like, that should be the strength of the team besides the quarterback, and it's last in the league.
It's like a glaring weakness right now. Yeah, they're down there with the Raiders and the Texans and the Titans and just company you do not want to keep.
No, and like the Herbert under pressure numbers are crazy this year.
Ooh.
I dug up some things about Herbert's numbers with and without Joe Alt on the field this year. Dramatically better when he's out there.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, dramatically.
I'm sure.
I mean, yards per attempt, all those type of things. So, I mean, we're Wednesday. You can start talking about the opponent a little bit here. I mean, to me, I would be very worried from a Chargers perspective, Chargers O-line versus Steeler D-line, especially coming off the game that the Steelers just had. But I think the real story, like you opened the show with, is, guys, it seems to always happen with O-line too. And Dale and I used to joke because the average Steeler fan, I'm not giving you guys a hard time, but can't comment.
The average NFL fan in general.
Right. They're not going to talk about 31 other lines all that much. And I've always said that's something I like to bring to the table. Like, boy, you think your low line's bad. Let me show you these 10.
Go watch the Raiders.
Yeah, right, exactly. So I think there's a lot of people around here that are like, man, this O-line's okay, below average. I'm not saying it's superstars, but it's good. I mean, it's an above average line.
It's gotten better,
and it's improving.
It was better in October than it was in September. Hopefully, it's going to be better in November than it was in October,
and better in 2026,
absolutely,
2027. Right.
This line at the end says it all for the Chargers. The Chargers are going to simply have to gut it out for the rest of the season with multiple backups and no clear avenue for stability. Whew.
Right. That's it. This is what you got.
Max Starks. Barbecue chicken those boys on Sunday Night Football. We'll talk about all that and more with our buddy Chris Halleck when we return on the other side. Just getting started. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here on a Wednesday, and joining us now, it's our regular Wednesday guest to the program. Of course, Chris Halleck covers the Steelers for DK Pittsburgh Sports. Chris, partner, a lot that we want to discuss with you with the Steelers, with the trade deadline. Let's jump right into it. Thank you for taking the time, as always. Matt and I were kind of talking some offensive line units to start the show today, and talking about the Steelers and how much they've improved since the start of the season. And Matt had a list of best offensive lines in the National Football League. They were ranked 11th on that. Pro Football Focus has them ranked 9th in terms of the NFL offensive lines right now. Is that something that you feel is tangible, that you've seen? Does it really feel like this group was better in October than they were in September?
Oh, yeah, they're definitely on an upward trajectory, to kind of use a Mike Tomlin ism right there, or at least a turn of phrase. Yeah, I think they're definitely a unit that's improving. There's definitely room to grow. Like when you look at, the totality of what they're doing, they still rank 30th in the NFL in rushing. That's not where you want to be. They don't want to be averaging less than 90 yards on the ground. Now they've played some tough run defenses for sure, but they've also performed pretty well against some of those. They had 100 yards on the ground against the Browns. For the most part, they've kept Aaron Rodgers clean, and most importantly, they've kept Aaron Rodgers healthy. But that they're still going to face some really tough defenses. The Chargers are another one here coming up on Sunday night. But yeah, I think they've definitely taken a step forward, and it's definitely something that's encouraging for not just the Steelers in 2025, but also a huge part of what they're doing in terms of their future plans is making sure that this offensive line continues to grow, not just individually, like seeing guys like Zach Frazier and Mason McCormick and Troy Fautanu and Broderick Jones all taking steps forward individually, but also collectively as well, to make sure that they're growing together as a unit.
Couldn't agree more, and I do think they are growing as a unit. But Fautanu, to me, is turning into a star.
Yeah. He's. I mean, that tape was so much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Against the Colts. I mean, I think it was Grover Stewart, or he just ran him over. I mean, completely like flat back type of a hit. I mean, it was. He handled stunts perfectly. I didn't see one rep that was really bad. It might have been his best game as a pro, to be completely honest. But yeah, he is so technically sound. He's so strong. He's so well balanced all the time. He's quick. He's out of his stance quick. His footwork is impeccable. I mean, he might end up, and I think in the season, it wouldn't surprise me if he ended up being the best offensive lineman on this team come the end of the season. Now that's, Zach Frazier is a pretty good guy too, but Fautanu is really turning into something special.
Yeah, and it really stands out when you do that out on the end by yourself, the tackles. Yeah. And I think you're right. I think Zach has been outstanding. I think Mason McCormick is really coming into his own. But yeah, when you're doing it at the tackle position, it just looks different. It just feels different. And man, these last couple weeks, Fautanu feels like the game's really slowing down for him. And I think that Colts game was a outstanding example. Chris, speaking of the Colts, crazy trade deadline across the National Football League yesterday. Who are you more surprised by, the Colts or the Dallas Cowboys?
I mean, the Colts, I understand. There's rationale behind what they're doing because they're the top team in the AFC. It's a great opportunity to try to go for it. They shored up a weakness on their roster, even though their roster doesn't have a lot of true weaknesses. It still, solidified something with a good player. Now, granted, I don't think Sauce Gardner has been as good as he's been in the past. So maybe he ends up thriving in their defense instead of, I don't know how anybody thrives in New Jersey, but I mean, but the Cowboys, I mean, it almost seems like that's the kind of thing that Jerry Jones is going to do. The Cowboys are not in a great position right now. They're in a really tough divisional race. I understand that, like the rest of the Giants and the Commanders aren't necessarily, banging down the door to try to win that division, but the Eagles aren't going to be an easy team to beat. But it doesn't surprise me that Jerry Jones is going to be pulling off these kind of moves, but now he's putting himself into a situation in which, you give away those assets. Are you going to pay them? And if you pay them, what are you going to do with Dak Prescott? I mean, there's legitimate questions to be asked in Dallas. And so I don't know. I would say the Colts might be a little bit more surprising just because I kind of expect the big moves from the Cowboys because that's just kind of what they do. The Cowboys are the type of team that kind of chase headlines. And if the Cowboys are being talked about, then things are, I guess, are going well in Dallas.
So there's 3 Steelers. I'm just not quite sure what the short-term plan is, and I wonder what your thoughts are. Valdez-Scantling, Jabril Peppers, Corey Trice. What do you think that the plan is here in the coming weeks for those guys?
Well, MVS is he's got to learn the offense, number one. Now, I mean, but when it comes to like looking at the rest of the season, right now, I think it's more just about having that receiver depth, especially with a veteran guy, somebody who has familiarity with Rodgers. You know, when we talk about, you know, when you brought up Peppers there, I think about like when Kyle Duggar comes in, Peppers can immediately start translating the language from the Patriots defense to the Steelers defense. And that will help Duggar with that. And then Rodgers can do the same because Rodgers understands the offense that they ran under Matt LaFleur in Green Bay, and he can help translate, you know, what they were doing versus what Arthur Smith is doing. And that'll help in that regard. And, you know, if you have another injury, Scotty Miller's obviously been out with an injury. If they have another injury, if Calvin Austin goes down again, if Roman Wilson goes down, or God forbid if DK Metcalf goes down, then you have another guy who can step in and possibly fill that role. With Peppers, it's hard to say right now because I don't know what the actual prognosis is on Deshaun Elliott, but I get the feeling he's not going to be back anytime soon. And
yeah, if we assume he's out of the equation, do you think Peppers is ahead of Clark? Could either of them challenge Duggar? I think Ramsey we know is a safety now.
I don't think anybody's going to challenge Duggar.
Okay.
Especially coming, I mean, he came in and picked it up so fast and was able to play all but one snap. I don't think anybody's going to challenge him. I think your top 2 safeties, at least for the time being, are definitely going to be Ramsey and Duggar.
Okay.
But when you're talking about if you want to go big nickel, it wouldn't surprise me if Peppers leapfrogged Clark because number one,
I hope so.
Well, Peppers is more of a box safety than Clark is, and then number 2, Peppers has chemistry, you know, previously in New England with Duggar. And so again, when we talk about, you know, the translating the defenses and everything, you know, that'll help in that regard. You know, that you would think they'd be on the same page more often than not.
I think he just moves better than Clark too.
Yeah, and he's a little bit more violent. He's a little bit more physical. Now, I'm not saying Clark can't lay the wood because, I mean, that's Chase Brown. I mean, Clark, you know, there's an imprint in Paycor Stadium of Chase Brown's body where Chuck Clark leveled him. But, you know, Peppers can also really lay the wood too. When it comes to Corey Trice, man, I mean, I have yet to see the injury report for today. But it looks like he you know had a setback, but not a setback with the hamstring, but also got a new injury with a knee. At this point with Trice, it's just he's got to get healthy.
Yeah.
That's the only hurdle there. They like the kid. They love his work ethic. For those who have followed my work on DK Pittsburgh Sports for multiple seasons, you will know that how much they really, really love this kid, but man, he's got to stay healthy. He's got to get on the football field and stay there. That's really the only concern with Corey Trice.
But there was something last week, right? You know, something new happened with like last Wednesday or Thursday, right?
Yeah,
that's kind of been foggy.
He was designated to return, and then he comes back in practice, and literally the next day, the injury report shows up where he has a new knee injury, and because the original injury that had him on IR in the first place was a hamstring, and then he ends up getting a knee injury in practice, like the next day, and like that.
Yeah,
that's why that is the hurdle with Trice is that it's been a hamstring for a while, but it was the torn ACL in his rookie year. And now it's potentially this knee injury. Is this going to keep? Because I mean, his window's open. They have to make a decision in a total of 21 days. And if they decide like no, like he's not going to be healthy, he's out for the year.
Right.
So he's got to get healthy. That's the main concern.
Yeah, it's a real shame because you're right, Chris. They they like him a lot. If you spend kind of any time around those conversations, every time his name comes up, if you're talking to someone on the coaching staff, someone in the front office, they rave about him, about that work ethic, about just all the things he has that you can't coach. The body type and the size and the athleticism and all that stuff. But it's one of the oldest cliches.
I think they think he could maybe be a starter.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, yeah.
But it's, you go back to, you can't make the club in the tub, right? Which Tunch and Wolf used to say all the time. And unfortunately, it's tough to trust him and rely on him at this point. A couple more minutes here with our buddy Chris Halleck on The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio. Chris, maybe I buried the lead. I should have probably just asked you off the top. But were you surprised that it was a quiet trade deadline Tuesday for the Steelers? They did, go and get Duggar the week before. They did make some practice squad movements. But were you surprised that we didn't see anything, specifically in the trade market on Tuesday?
I'm not completely surprised. I did think that Omar was going to try to get something done, and he did. I'll have further details on DK Pittsburgh Sports probably in a couple of days as I continue to ask around and prod around and try to get as much information as I can on that. But I do know that he did try to get something done. And fans are going to hear that and be like, well, trying to get something done. Then yeah, exactly. And I understand that perspective, but at the same time,
sorry to interrupt, but I think it was a real seller's market. I was shocked how much people got back for everyone. I mean, especially Sauce, but I mean, in general, the teams that sold players got a better return than they usually do.
Well, and what fans are going to focus on is it took a 4th and a 6th to get Jacoby Myers and a 4th and a 5th to get Rashid Shaheed.
Mm-hmm.
And then fans are going to wonder, well, you're not dealing any exactly, and especially when you know that the Steelers could have as many as 12 draft picks in next year's draft, and so of course the question at that point is, well, why wasn't he willing to part with that? And the answer to that question is nothing right now is more important. Nothing is more important than getting a future quarterback. Aaron Rodgers has been great. The Steelers absolutely love everything that he has done for this team so far, but he's not the long-term solution. He's 41 years old. He's turning 42 in less than a month, or in about a month. He's not the long-term solution at quarterback, and that has absolutely been on all my. I wrote about this on our app on DK Pittsburgh Sports. The quarterback has been and remains the most important, like a long-term solution. Omar's tired of the one-year fixes. He's tired of having to address this every single offseason, and he might have to do it again in the spring. I mean, he will have to do it again because Aaron Rodgers is on a one-year contract. He's going to have to deal with it at some point, whether that's in the draft or whatever. But long-term solution quarterback is the answer. And no, you're not going to be able to take all those compensatory picks and just package them all together and get some team to take it so that you can move up to go get the quarterback. But even if let's say they don't even get a quarterback, they don't get an opportunity because there's so many other teams that have multiple firsts and they don't get an opportunity. They might have to wait until 2027. Well, why not use the draft picks that you have in next year's draft and get yourself a really great draft class, a really strong draft class, and further bolster and solidify that roster so that when that quarterback does come, you're putting him into a great situation like Ben Roethlisberger had when he arrived in Pittsburgh, and not like a situation that Bryce Young had or has in Carolina where he has literally nothing around him. So that is it's not just getting the quarterback. That is paramount, but it's also making sure that he's in the best situation possible when that player arrives in Pittsburgh. So, no, it does not surprise me at all that he's not willing to just throw away a 4th and a 6th to go get Jacoby Myers, who might not be here past 2025 if he were to be acquired, or Shaheed, a 4th and a 5th. If you give away those draft picks, and by the way, Omar Khan's done pretty darn good with 4th-round picks.
I say mid-round picks
really
are
good.
Their last few 4th-round picks have been pretty good.
Yeah, and you probably had to give more than that because you had to beat the offer that was on the table.
Right. So the point is, why give away those picks that you've done really well with in previous drafts that have no return past 2025? Now, of course, you could say, well, what if you just signed Jacoby Myers to an extension? What if you signed Rashid Shaheed to an extension? Well, what if they don't want to? What if they want to test the market? Why take that chance to literally throw those draft picks away? And if it doesn't produce a Super Bowl victory, then they literally are wasted draft picks. It's not like trading a second-round pick for DK Metcalf because he turned around and signed a 5-year contract. He's going to be here for a while.
It's not the Sauce move or the Quinnen Williams move where they're not going anywhere. Right. These are rentals.
Exactly. And Omar, the Steelers are not in a position right now where they're going to be making those all-in moves like we saw the Rams do when they were trying to build up and try to win before Aaron Donald ran out of time. They made the moves to go all in, and they went and it worked. They won the Super Bowl back in 2021. But that's not what the Steelers are doing right now, because the primary goal for what Omar is doing in terms of long-term stability is doing whatever he can to figure out the long-term solution at quarterback, because he knows, as many people should, that the best chance you ever have of winning Super Bowls is to have a franchise quarterback. It's just been proven over the course of this game, and it's most important, and it should be. So I commend Omar for staying true to that and not trying to just steal headlines on trade deadline day so that fans can have a dopamine rush.
Yeah, I mean, I said it before the deals happened, what I would give up for Myers and Shaheed, both of whom I'd have a lot of interest in, but it wasn't the price that those two teams got. I wouldn't have – that was too much for me. I mean, and I think the Steelers inevitably agreed. I can't help myself, Chris, but you've mentioned a couple times, the future quarterback. And I'm not implying that Will Howard's the future starter here, but I know a lot of our listeners
we got
get
a couple tweets about
wound
that yesterday.
Up. What do you think happens with his window? I mean, we're churning along through these 21 days pretty quick.
I would think that he gets that. I mean, listen, they only have 2 active quarterbacks, and they've only had 2 active quarterbacks now for weeks. I mean, you would like to think at some point they're going to have to put a third on there just in case something happens. Like, what if Aaron Rodgers does get injured? What if something happens to Mason Rudolph in practice or whatever? You have to have, there's a reason why most quarterbacks have 3. Yeah, exactly. So the fact that they've even gone this long without having a real third on the roster is kind of surprising. So in terms of this year with Will Howard, I would assume at some point he's gonna be activated and become the QB3. He'll continue to run scout team in practice, and then he'll be there as an emergency guy just in case something does happen with Rodgers and Rudolph. But I think that was kind of the vision from the beginning as well. Obviously, the injury, threw a monkey wrench into that. He had to recover from that. But I think just for this year, I think QB3 is absolutely where he's going to be in terms of the future. And him possibly being the guy, that's very, very much TBD. Yeah. He was a 6th-round pick for a reason.
It's funny. Every time we talk about Will Howard, we always
a spark.
We always get some tweets. We got one last night. I don't know if you saw that, Matt. Why do you guys hate Will Howard? We do not hate Will Howard. Okay?
Yeah, if you're looking for clicks or just want your podcast to sell or whatever, say something bad about Will Howard. Or something not glowing about Will Howard, and you can get a lot of attention.
One guy that I will never say something not glowing about. It's our buddy Chris Halleck, DK Pittsburgh Sports. Chris, partner, thank you so much for taking the time for us here on a Wednesday. Great stuff as always, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thanks for having me, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you. There he goes, Chris Halleck. Yes, Sven tweeted us last night and said, why do you hate Will Howard? All you and Matt talk about is drafting a quarterback, but why? Do you already know he isn't it? Because I think he can absolutely be it. You said this so well. I think it was back during training camp when you did a podcast about Will Howard and everybody just came after you.
And it wasn't even negative. It's not like I hate Will Howard. I mean, the hate word's crazy on there, but anyway.
You said this, I forget exactly how you said it, but I think it makes a lot of sense. Is that quarterback is a luxury item. I don't want to go shopping in the later rounds for a quarterback.
No, and hope you hit. Right? It happens.
Does it happen? Absolutely. But you
Once
can also
in a while.
You can also list the guys of Tom Brady, obviously 6th round pick. Brock Purdy, 7th round pick. Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder. Dak Prescott was a 4th rounder.
But nobody talks about the hundreds that don't make it from the 3rd to 7th round. Right?
And there's plenty in the 1st round that don't make it either.
Right.
But it's like a poker hand or a blackjack hand or something. You just want to give yourself the best odds. Yeah. And there's a theory that you should draft one every year. In some way, shape, or form. Worked well for a lot of teams that do that.
Yeah.
You have outlined before how the Packers have always done that, even when they had Brett Favre, and they're turning Hasselbeck and all these other guys, and Bruner
and Brunell.
Brunell. Yeah, sorry. not Mark Brunner, Mark Brunell.
Right.
Don't cross up your Steelers and Jaguars signals there. I want to see more of Will Howard.
Oh, yeah.
But I
hate that we were robbed of his preseason reps.
Yes. I also want to
I'm not putting all my chips in that basket.
I want to go shopping in the luxury aisle as well too. At that position. That's a big thing for me. Like offensive tackle and quarterback. I want to swing for the fences.
Absolutely.
And listen, that whatever happens with Will Howard, he's going to have an opportunity in some capacity. But I don't I don't also think that should stop you from going out and getting a guy this year or even next year, and what both feel like are going to be pretty loaded, pretty sizable quarterback classes out of college football.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad they drafted him. I projected him as a long-term backup, which would be a very successful pick in the 6th round. Who knows? Maybe he is more. If we saw the preseason, we'd have a different opinion. Good, bad, whatever. You'd have more information.
Sure.
And I think he's going to, get a ton of work going forward in the preseason, things like that. But you can't just be like, oh, we got a guy in the 6th round. The rest of the league totally missed on this dude. How would you know?
Yeah. And that's like you said too. We wish you would have gotten so much more of a sample size, so many more data points on Will Howard.
And it might happen, and a million people might come back to me and be like, you don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah.
And that'd be great. I hope they do. Yes. I hope they do.
If Will Howard ends up being a top 10 quarterback in the NFL, I'll put my hand up and be like, I was wrong.
Yeah.
This is great.
And I've never said he can't be. I just said you can't count on that.
Which is a big difference.
That's a big difference, right?
A big difference.
I'm not writing him off that he has no chance, It's just but counting on that guy to be your next Ben Roethlisberger is nuts.
Yeah, but they're both from Ohio.
True.
A lot of successful 4th round picks for the Steelers now that we kind of
you throwing away a 4th and not throwing away, but a 4th and a 5th for Shaheed or whatever.
Kevin Dotson was a 4th round pick. I know it didn't necessarily pan out here, but look at him
now. He's a very good player. But
Dan Moore, 4th round pick. Calvin Austin, 4th round pick. Nick Herbig, 4th round pick. Mason McCormick, 4th round pick.
Yeah.
And this year, Jack Sawyer, who you've needed and gotten some contribution
he's been very
from.
useful, right? And all of them don't cost any money on your salary cap for 4 years. There's a lot of mid-round picks are really important.
And when you consider Omar Khan's background too, right, of cap and money and where to invest your resources and your money, makes a lot of sense.
And one thing I wanted to bring up to Chris too is, let's say they go into next draft with 12 picks. Well, they very well might take one of those 4ths and turn it into a future 3rd, or a 3rd turns into a future 2nd. That then maybe does let you move up in the 1st round a little bit more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're not going to probably make 12 or 13 picks.
You want all options on the table.
Yes.
You want all options on the table. When we come back on the other side, speaking of Will Howard, speaking of NFL draft, you want to go around campus, Matt Williamson, when we return. Let's do it.
Yep.
We'll talk a little quarterbacks, a little draft when we return on the other side. And I've got a little bit of an observation, a bigger picture quarterback observation that I want to run past Matt too. We'll do all that in the bottom half of the hour. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It is The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here as we come down the home stretch of the first hour of this Wednesday programming. And with that, it means it is time to go around campus.
Yeah, let's go.
I know you look forward to this, don't you? This is you can put your feet up and just kind of
I like how psyched you get about it too.
I do love it.
Yeah.
I love college football. I love the draft. I love especially that we know the Steelers are this year, next year, going to be in the quarterback market.
I can't stress enough, though, and I even did a side podcast on this today. It's going to be harder than we thought to get your first-round quarterback. And the trade deadline didn't do the Steelers any favors.
No, it did not.
Getting some extra picks to the wrong teams.
It absolutely did not. And with that, Matt, let's go ahead and start. Before we get into individuals and some of the names that we've been talking about and all that stuff, that was my kind of observation that I teased. The more and more we get into this college football season, which is now at week 11?
Yeah, it's well past the halfway mark.
There's just a few weeks left here in the college football season. I mean, Thanksgiving is kind of the end of the regular season, and then we'll have conference championship games.
I say, when do the playoffs start?
Playoffs will start
5 or 6 weeks?
New Year's-ish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
We got a little bit again.
Like
okay.
late December.
Yeah. Bowl season.
Holiday
But
bowl season.
Traditionally,
yeah. I think that there's not going to be as many quarterbacks coming out for the draft this year that we might have assumed back in August and even September.
Yeah. I tend to agree.
I certainly think some of the names like Fernando Mendoza will.
Yes.
After that, though, Matt, I really don't know. Like someone like Dante Moore.
I say Moore and Sellers to me are less than 50%.
I think so.
Yeah.
Because
they're going to make so much money.
They're going to make so much money if they stay.
Right.
If you're Dante Moore, I think both of these guys, they're not Ty Simpson from Alabama where they're like single-digit starts in their career.
Mm-hmm.
But they don't have a massive body of work either.
Experience would be helpful.
Experience would be very helpful. If you're Dante Moore, you could stay at Oregon. You can make a ton of money. You can run it back for another year for an Oregon team that's going to be loaded next year. They're really good. They're really good now, and they're so young.
Like if he returns, they're a preseason top 5 team.
Number one,
maybe one.
One
or
two.
Okay.
Yeah. Lenora Sellers. This year hasn't gone the way he wanted it to, that South Carolina has wanted it to gone to. They've been banged up on the offensive line. They can't run the football. He's trying to do too much. Do you leave and go play at a program like it's not going to be Ohio State?
Michigan or Ohio State.
Ohio State.
Right.
I don't know if he would want to stay in the SEC because then he'd have to go up against his old school. Maybe, though. I mean, do you end up somewhere like an LSU or, somewhere like that, an Ole Miss with Lane Kiffin, whatever the case might be? I think there's a real chance that could be the case. Guys like Fernando Mendoza will come out. Some of these guys, Hayes King, Carson Beck, will come out. But
they all will unless they get hurt between now and then.
Unless they get hurt between now and then, too.
Right,
That's an absolute great point.
The story's not done, yeah.
Sam Leavitt, who's the Arizona State quarterback.
Right.
I really like him. I think he's maybe the most underrated guy in this conversation.
Okay. He was on all the preseason lists.
He was on all the preseason lists, got banged up at the beginning of the year, so kind of faded a little bit, came back and played really well for a few weeks, and then just got hurt again last week.
Why would he come out?
So why would he come out?
Yeah.
And if his head coach ends up taking a big boy job there, Kenny Dalglish, which could absolutely happen.
He could get bumped up.
He is an Arizona State guy.
Yeah.
But, he won the Big 12 with them last year, had them in the playoff. I think he could get one of these Auburn-type jobs.
Really? LSU or
absolutely.
Whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah. Auburn, Florida,
one of the big jobs.
Something like that, yeah. If that happens, does Sam Leavitt transfer from Arizona? Does he do a Jaden Daniels? Good few years at Arizona State, transfer to a big program, and end up being a top 5, top 10 pick. I certainly think that could be the case. So the more and more we get into this thing, and I think a lot of people have said it. I think I've been guilty of it too. I probably said at times back in early September when we were doing this, Matt, there could be 6 or 7 quarterbacks drafted in the first round.
Oh yeah. And that seemed very possible then. That was not crazy talk.
Now I think it'll probably be more like 2 or 3 or 4.
And you haven't even mentioned Uhler, Klubnik, Nussmeier. Like they were the ones that were in that mix too.
Arch Manning.
I mean, there was some. At least with him, people weren't sure if he's coming out or not.
Right.
The 3 I mentioned, they were definitely in those 6 or 7 potential ones.
Correct.
I'd be shocked if any of that. I mean, and there's no way Uhler or Klubnik's going in the first round, right?
Uhler, I don't think so, especially with the injury.
Or they come off an injury,
and so again, that's a different than just a underwhelming performance.
That's what I mean.
Conversation
for varied reasons, all those guys' stock has dropped.
I do wonder though if some of like the Klubniks, for example, the Nussmeiers, the names that we discussed plenty coming into this, more than Dante Moore, more than Jada Mayava, more than
Simpson.
Even Simpson.
He wasn't really on the radar.
And Mendoza,
either.
yeah. I wonder if those guys have strong finishes of the season. Like Cade Klubnik played probably his best game of the year Saturday.
Oh, good. Okay.
They lost to Duke in a shootout, but he played his best game. They lost 46-45. Duke went for 2 at the end and won the game.
Okay.
75% completion percentage, 385 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnover. No
and some
turnovers.
of these guys will gain steam again at the Senior Bowl, at the Combine,
So
if they declare.
Maybe we're in a weird middle area right here where
it is.
A lot of the preseason darlings haven't lived up to the expectations.
Mm-hmm.
The Allers, the Mannings, the Klubniks, the Nussmeyers.
Even like Mateer needs to get healthier again, and right.
But someone like Mendoza is rocketing up a list. Someone like Ty Simpson at Alabama is rocketing up a list. So maybe water will find its level there, and a couple of those big names will perform well down the stretch, and then and maybe we still do have 4 or 5 first-round quarterbacks drafted. I don't think it's going to be the 6 or 7 like it was looking
right.
maybe a month, 2 months ago.
So many people scoff at you when you say, well, next year's class is going to be better than this year's class, And it is funny because there's so many instances of early picks that we didn't even know were coming. Burrow, Wentz, Baker. Guys that were top 2 picks in the draft.
Absolutely. Cam Ward,
when we weren't talking about him, right. But from a Steeler perspective, what if Rodgers wants to come back? What if you want to give Howard a ton of preseason reps? Rudolph's under contract. Might you wait a year?
Especially if it's Fernando Mendoza in a cast of unprovens.
Right.
What if Dante Moore goes back to school, Lenore Sellers goes back to school, Ty Simpson goes back to school,
and they all come out next year with Arch
and Julian Sayin from Ohio State, and then right. we all get kind of duped that it ends up being a year later than we thought that there's 6 first-round quarterbacks.
Now, of course, same thing could happen to them too. They could all get hurt or play terrible or whatever.
Absolutely.
Again, you're waiting on the future. None of us have a crystal ball.
Exactly right. Exactly right. But as we get more and more into this, I think it's every week I'm thinking it's more and more likely that Lenore Sellers isn't looking like himself. Why would he come out now? Dante Moore.
Yeah, he's not building the best resume he possibly can.
Dante Moore got banged up and is coming off his bye week, so maybe he'll light it on fire these last couple of games and will end up still getting drafted. But someone like Ty Simpson.
If they're getting advice, they're going to go in the top 5 overall. They'll come out, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
But, right.
Top 10, absolutely.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of these guys, and even more so now in this NIL era, why would you not? I know we talked about this, Matt. I still can't believe that Quinn Ewers entered the draft last year.
Yeah. I can't. You
some,
can't tell me Pitt or Rutgers or WU or somebody who could have said, come be our quarterback for a year.
And you're going to make 5, 6, 7 times as much as you would have as a 7th-round draft pick.
Yeah, right.
It's.
Speaking of which, I'm not going to go through all the teams, but Kyler just got benched. Kyler and Tua are 2 that we kind of thought that team could go either way. It's sure looking like they're going to be in the quarterback market more, and there's a lot of them now.
There's a lot of them trending in that direction. And maybe the Vikings are the only ones that we had them as a maybe.
They're looking better after
maybe they're
one
looking
day,
better for being set, but a lot of those other kind of middle ground teams
look like they're in the market.
And now, granted, I feel like that's the case every year. Right?
Of course,
everybody always needs quarterbacks.
Right. We've kind of said this for 5 years as the Steelers go get a Russell Wilson, a Trubisky. You can't just wait forever. But there's got to be somebody to get. Getting from 23 to 8 isn't going to be easy.
No, it's not. And
because the Rams with 2 first-round picks, that'll jump you. Whatever.
That's where we loved back in September when it looked like there was going to be 5, 6, 7 first-round quarterbacks. Great. You don't have to jump up to 6 to get one.
Right.
You can go to 13 to get one.
Sure.
But
Allen and Mahomes and those guys were not top 5 picks.
But all of a sudden, I think it could be different. There could be 3 first-round quarterbacks, and they're all taken in the top 10.
Yeah. Or there's going to be. But again, we're crystal balling it here, but no one thought Nix was going to be a first-round pick that year, you know, and he goes right in the middle of the first round, and most people had a second-round grade on him. And now it's kind of worked out pretty well for Denver, but if the Raiders are picking 12 and the top 3 quarterbacks are off the board, they might just say, we're taking a quarterback no matter what.
They might.
Right,
They very well could. They certainly very well could.
Jets, the Browns, right.
Yes. So let's run through a couple of these names just to update you on where they're at, how they're doing. Fernando Mendoza, just another blowout win for Indiana, where it was
he just keeps checking the box.
He just keeps checking the boxes. Completed 67% of his passes, over 200 yards, 1 touchdown. Did throw an interception, only his 2nd of the year. Also had 24 yards rushing and a rushing touchdown as well. I want to see him in the playoff. You know what I mean? For now, it's just stay healthy, Big Ten championship game, playoff. He's going to play, depending on how far they go, 2, 3, 4 really big games at the end of the year. if he continues to check the boxes, he could be the first overall pick.
I should
certainly
know
think
this, but do they have a chance to be in the Big Ten championship?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
It's not a East-West thing anymore.
It is
right?
not.
Like
no.
I was saying,
So right now, they
play Ohio State?
They beat Oregon in that big matchup a couple weeks ago. So if Indiana and Ohio State win out, that would be your Big Ten championship game.
Okay. So that starts there.
And then Oregon would still get into the playoff. As like the third Big Ten team.
Okay.
But yes, I
was hoping to see him against Ohio State. I mean, at a Matt Patricia defense.
Oh, 100%.
And that defense is awesome.
It's great, and I don't think they play in the regular season. Let me just double check this, but yeah, they do not. So Indiana has Penn State this weekend, then Wisconsin, then Purdue. They should be able to handle business against those three teams.
Is Penn State scary at all?
Yes.
I would say they still have good players.
They still
right?
have good players.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
They
played Ohio State reasonably tough.
They did. I think they ended up losing by 14 or 17, but it was a close game at halftime. They didn't roll over and die,
Yeah.
And they're at home against Penn State this Saturday at noon. That'll be a decent test.
Oh, yeah.
It won't be 100-some thousand crazy Penn State fans going nuts. I'm sure there'll be plenty of empty seats in the upper decks and everything. But that's still a team with some pride and a lot of talent.
There's a lot of NFL players on the team. Yeah.
Absolutely. The highest paid defensive coordinator in college football. But yes, I would like to see him against Ohio State as well too. I am with you on that.
Boy,
one.
that's a defense.
Dante Moore coming off his bye week, coming off that injury against Wisconsin. It does look like he will return to action against Iowa. That bye week came at the right time. He took a high hit, like a clothesline type hit against Wisconsin early in the third quarter and did not return, but then gets the bye week to hopefully get healthy. And this is I think Oregon's ranked like 7th or 8th right now. They have to go to Iowa on the road, Matt, the 20th ranked team in the country. It's a good test for Dante Moore.
Yeah, okay, good.
Iowa's another one of those, like, you know what you're getting, and they're usually pretty good in the trenches. They've got some
bunch of Steelers from Iowa.
They got some good defensive backs. This will be a good test for Dante Moore off the bye week.
You just know Ferentz teams aren't easy to play against.
Correct.
I don't know anyone on their football team, but I'm sure it's not an easy game.
No, absolutely not. Never is. And so that one, 9th ranked Oregon at number 20 Iowa. That's 3:30 on CBS. That's one of the ones to watch this weekend for sure. Lenora Sellers, rough Saturday for him, Matt. They got smoked by Ole Miss. He completed just 53% of his passes, 180 yards, 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions. He did run for a score. I mean, his athleticism is undeniable.
Oh, yeah.
But he was sacked 6 times.
He's getting beat up like crazy.
And I've told you, he might have the worst offensive line in the SEC, one of the worst in Power 4 football. They can't run the ball. They can't protect him.
I watched him 2 weeks ago. Every nice play he had would be a comeback from a hold or, right.
Exactly right. But he also, 6 sacks. It's like he's just getting beat up back there. He is trying to, make magic happen. But it's tough. He's turning the ball over because of that.
Well, that's the thing. Now you get to the point where I'm all we got, so now I have to take risks that I usually wouldn't, and then you put that on tape, and how do people interpret that as scouts, and
And you mentioned that Bama game that you watched a couple weeks ago where it was like every time he made a play, something negative would happen.
Yeah, and they battled him to the very, very end, too.
It was kind of similar with Ole Miss. Like, they didn't battle Ole Miss to the very, very end, but, man, he made a couple fantastic throws.
Really?
And his receivers dropped them,
right,
or, tripped over their own feet, or like
illegal procedures. Just everything came back, or didn't go the way it should have.
Exactly right. And as much as this has not been the year that Lenora Sellers wanted at all, same thing for South Carolina can be said. You still see it a couple times a game where it's like,
oh, that's the thing. Quarterback coaches would be like, I'll work with that.
He can throw the deep ball.
Yeah.
He can move.
Yeah.
And it's like a few times a game, you're like, I'd still take that guy in the first round.
See, like, part of me hopes like he looks bad or gets beat up. I mean, I'm not rooting bad for the kid. So he falls to 22 and sits behind Rodgers for a year.
Absolutely.
Like, oh, baby. Like that.
I would sign in blood. I would sign in blood for that right now.
If you could get him with your first-round pick and not much else or whatever for the Steelers because it's a down year, oh, baby.
Baby.
Yeah, if he sits behind Rudolph for a year. I mean, whatever it is. Just, yeah.
Completely agree. Couple more names I want to discuss here with you, Matt. Jada Miava, the USC quarterback, who we've started to talk to about a little bit more. He played poorly against Nebraska. They had to go to Nebraska, night game. It was a blackout there at Memorial Stadium in Nebraska. He was 9 of 23 for 135 yards and an interception. I will give him this, though. He played very poorly. He led them down the field in the fourth quarter to score a touchdown and take the lead.
Okay.
So, and
he's got traits, though.
He's got traits. And even in a game where he was frustrated, was probably his worst performance of the season, he found a way to lead his team to victory in the fourth quarter. I do like that.
Okay. It's not going to be smooth sailing for all these guys all the time.
No, it's not. It's not.
And I'll be honest, as a evaluator and been around a lot of really good evaluators, you want to see these guys struggle. You don't want it to be easy straight. Yeah, because
That's a great point. That's a great point.
I remember that day you didn't have it, but you figured out a way,
Absolutely.
The pitcher doesn't have his fastball or curveball,
Absolutely. Ty Simpson had a bye week with Alabama. We'll see how he does down the stretch here. His stock is through the roof. One guy, I told you this, Matt, the other day, that I'm out on is Carson Beck now.
I get it. Yeah.
It's his fifth year in college football, and he still somehow just lacks the leadership and lacks the maturity. He threw 2 really bad interceptions in Miami's loss at SMU, and then blamed his coaches afterwards. Like
is that the second time in this month he's done that post game? Yeah.
He's got the talent, he's got the frame, he's got all that stuff, but he lacks.
But he doesn't have otherworldly talent.
No.
Like he is.
He lacks the leadership. He lacks the maturity. He lacks the IQ. I think I'm out on this guy. He's given him so many grains of salt.
Yeah. And
he's also not 19 or 20 in his first year of college football.
Yeah,
he's in his 5th year of high-level college football. He should know better.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to you a little bit about Cade Klubnik. I thought he played his best game of the season. Be interested to see what he does down the stretch.
Maybe him or Nuss can redeem themselves a little bit here.
Absolutely. Taylon Green, the Arkansas quarterback that we've talked about a little bit, they lost a tough one to Mississippi State. He's another one of those guys who it's just they go as he goes, and if he's not playing out of his mind, they're going to lose. And Arkansas fired their coach a month ago, Sam Pittman. They're kind of reeling.
Yuck.
He still makes a lot of plays, with his arm and with his legs, but he's a tough eval for me at this point. He's one that I'm excited to see get to the Senior Bowl and the Combine and all that stuff.
I could see that.
Sawyer Robinson, the Baylor quarterback, who I had kind of soured on for a couple weeks, he performed really nicely this week. 73% completion percentage, 267 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. On the year, Matt, he's got 2,700 yards passing, 26 touchdowns to just 7 interceptions. And one thing that really intrigues me about him, he's kind of the last specific guy that I want to talk about here, is his offensive coordinator at Baylor is a guy named Jake Spavital. Okay?
Don't know.
He has been a kind of college football longtime quarterback and quarterback coach, offensive coordinator.
Okay.
He's been at Oklahoma.
Quarterback guru type.
He's been at Oklahoma State. He's been at Texas A&M. He's been at WVU. If you look at the guys that he's coached in college, Geno Smith, Will Grier, Johnny Manziel, Kyle Allen, Davis Webb, Brandon Weeden.
Okay.
He's got and now I understand that none of those guys are lighting the world on fire in the NFL, but
see, my thoughts when you read that list were none of those guys is Jamarcus Russell talent up here.
That as well, too, though.
But they got the most out of their talent.
Yes.
They must be well coached.
Yes,
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right. They're not Josh Allen or Mahomes' ability,
Correct. And so that it just intrigues me. He knows how to have guys have success, get them to the league. Kyle Allen played a long time in the NFL. Will Grier's still in the NFL.
Yeah.
Geno Smith's still in the NFL. Intriguing to me one. Sawyer Robinson's an intriguing one because he's been up and down this year, but I think he's got some traits. He's 6'4". He's got the frame. He's another one of those guys I want to see, in the Senior Bowls and the Combine and all that stuff. He's one that I think could, come January, February, March, start to move up in some conversation.
So I've kind of thought with him, and again, please don't hold me to this because I have not broke him down or there's so much more to be written. But even preseason, being exposed to him a little bit, I thought, and I know this area doesn't usually work out for starting quarterbacks, but he seems like a second-round pick to me.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
And you see what happens. You know what I mean?
In the early 30s.
Yeah. The bad team that didn't get one in the first round or whatever,
Like a Tyler Shuck type selection.
Yeah. I mean, Derek Carr was that guy, or Garoppolo, or a lot of those type of dudes, right? Kaepernick, right.
Couple games for everybody to keep an eye on. How about LSU at Alabama? I know LSU is reeling, and they got a lot going on with that program, and they fired Brian Kelly, but I think their defense is very good.
Okay.
I want to see how Ty Simpson performs against them.
Simpson has a chance to be a very high pick, right?
A very high pick.
Yeah.
He's been unbelievable.
Okay.
I mean, he's been very good. Indiana is at Penn State at noon, like we mentioned. Certainly keep an eye on that one. And then what was the other one that I had highlighted here from a quarterback perspective? Oh, Oregon, Iowa, which we mentioned, as well too. Nice test for Dante Moore on the road to see how he responds off of a bye week.
So it doesn't sound like there's any game where we're having head-to-head where these guys face each other.
None of those this week, unfortunately. Matt, that'll do it for hour number 1. Hour number 2 on the other side, we'll do a little best of the West. We'll talk more about the Chargers, and we'll get to some of your tweets. All of that and more in the second hour of The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Good evening, Steeler Nation. How we doing? Well, that's good. Us too. Hour number 2 here on The Drive as we roll along on a Wednesday with plenty to get to. Matt, what do you say we do a little best of the West here to lead off hour number 2? And this is it kind of relates to, again, I'm trying to find different things to bring into the best of the West here every single week as we roll along. And I thought with us going to SoFi Stadium.
Okay. Oh, yeah, I forgot what we were going to do this week. Okay.
In honor of this weekend, my 10 favorite stadiums, arenas, parks that I've ever been to for a sporting event.
Has to be a sporting event, though. It can't be like Red Rocks.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm glad you said that. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Has to be for a sporting event. Can't just be a concert venue. Can't be Red Rocks out in Colorado.
Which sounds cool, though.
Funny enough, I've been there, but not for a concert. I did friggin' sunrise yoga there one time with my wife.
Wow. I bet it's awesome, though.
It was great.
Yeah.
We were out there like 3 or 4 years ago in Denver for a week, and she was like, "Can we do sunrise yoga at Red Rocks?" I was like, "Since you said Red Rocks, sure."
Sure.
Yeah. And I got up early and,
But the Sphere's not going to be on this list.
The Sphere is not going to be on this list, although I tell you what, as someone...
I bet I can get you started there.
As someone who's seen 4 shows at the Sphere, I would highly recommend. And also, can't be Pittsburgh or WVU based.
Good.
No PNC Park.
Too familiar.
No PNC Park. No WVU Coliseum. All right. So here we go.
I don't think I'm gonna have many comments on these, so take it away.
You might not. We'll see.
Yeah.
Some honorable mentions here for you first. Funny enough, Memorial Stadium. That's Nebraska's football stadium that I just talked about. Talking about USC. Was there back in my hockey broadcasting days because there was a team in our league in Lincoln, Nebraska. Got to go there once. It was fantastic.
Has that been the same stadium since like the 80s when they were awesome with like Tommy Frazier and
But I love old historic stadiums that have been renovated.
Okay.
You know what I mean? They still have the history and the tradition element, but they're not complete dumps.
Okay.
I love those.
Like, I'm not a car guy, but if I had $1 bazillion, I'd get an awesome muscle car from the 70s.
Yes.
That has air conditioning and
correct.
You know what I mean?
CD player.
Right. Yeah.
So some honorable mentions. Memorial Stadium would be one. Yankee Stadium would be one.
Okay,
I'm not a big baseball guy, but the history in there is just unbelievable.
That's pretty cool, yeah.
And then
what was the one before Yankee?
Memorial Stadium, Nebraska's football stadium.
Right.
And then Hinkle Fieldhouse, which is the Butler University basketball arena. It's where they filmed Hoosiers.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like the oldest Division I basketball arena in the country.
Did you go there when we were at the Combine?
Pursuta and I did one time. It was awesome. And I actually got to
It must have been a Colts game then. I don't think Mike's ever gone to the
It was a Colts game.
Yeah,
You're right. It was. The Steelers played on Monday Night Football against the Colts a couple years ago.
Did a road trip to it.
That's what it was.
Cool.
I actually got to go out on the court and made a layup.
Wow.
How about that? I missed my first one, but I made my second one. Told Pursuta he should have taken a video of me, but I was on the court and off the court very quickly. I might also throw Croke Park onto my honorable mentions. I really liked it.
Pretty cool.
I really liked it in Dublin.
At least put it on the honorable mentions.
Yeah. All right, number 10. We're going to count down from 10 to 1. Allegiant Stadium. the Las Vegas stadium where the Raiders play.
It's new and awesome, right?
It's new. It's awesome. It looks like the Death Star. I mean, it's very nice. It's very easy to get around. The food in there is great. The atmosphere and the acoustics are outstanding. Allegiant Stadium checks in at number 10.
Cool. Okay. It looks cool on TV.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Number 9, the Big House in Ann Arbor, Michigan. Don't let Mike Pursuta hear me say this.
Right.
I went there for a Michigan-Notre Dame game one year. It was really cool. The atmosphere is not as crazy as you would expect because Michigan
I've heard that too,
Michigan fans are a little bit of a wine and cheese crowd.
Yeah, I've heard.
They're not the down in Morgantown, bash natty lights off your face and go into the stadium and scream a bunch of 4-letter words.
Mm-hmm.
They're a little more wine and cheese, and we pack up our RV and we take the family to Ann Arbor for the weekend. But the history,
Got a little bit of money in, yeah.
The history of it and everything, and the whole campus is just so beautiful there. Big House is really cool. That's number 9 for me.
So that one I can contribute to a little. I never visited them, but a couple of my best friends, including one of my very best friends, class of 91 from Lebo people, went to Michigan.
Nice.
And coincidentally, that was actually, they were freshmen with the Fab Five.
That's
which was pretty cool.
That's pretty sweet.
Which is pretty cool. Like Weber was in his psych class.
Yeah,
and
that's
I don't think
awesome.
he saw him a lot, but whatever.
Yeah, sure.
But we had a lot of Michigan buddies that are super into it. And I guess when you go in the Big House, so you end up like on the top floor. And
Yes,
then
you do.
down,
You
right?
walk in on the
Which is
top
pretty
floor and
cool.
go
Yeah,
down.
yeah.
It is pretty cool. The history there is awesome. Matt, I was at WVU for 4.5 years. I did one extra semester.
Mm-hmm.
So 5 football seasons. 30 home games. I missed one. I went to 29 of the possible 30 WVU home games when I was in school. The one that I missed is because we were playing Norfolk State.
Okay.
And I had tickets to go see Notre Dame, Michigan at the Big House.
Ah, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So that was a fun road trip with some of my buddies. That checks in at number 9. Number 8, Matt, I'll be surprised if you've ever even heard of this one, but have you heard of the Palestra?
No.
Okay. It is in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. It's a basketball arena. It is what's the capacity here? Just under 9,000 people.
High school?
Yes, and there's 5 Division I basketball programs in Philly, in the area.
Right.
Villanova, Temple, St. Joe's, LaSalle, and Drexel.
Gotcha.
So they play there a lot too. So it's big for high school, like state championships and stuff.
Yeah.
It's big when like Villanova plays Temple or St. Joe's plays Temple, whatever. It was built in...
There's some serious high school teams.
Basketball in Philadelphia is a huge deal.
Right.
Huge deal.
Because, like, just real quick story. Like, my son's, one of his best friends is now a freshman at Miami of Ohio. Full ride. He was one of the best players in Whip Mules last year. Tyler Robbins, people might have known who he is. Great kid, great family. And USC, he led USC to, a championship, basically.
Nice.
But it's like, now we got to go play the Philly team. That was like Kobe's team.
Yes. Correct.
Like you're pretty good for Eastern PA, not for Kobe's team. Yeah.
I think Penn plays their home games there as well too. But it's from the outside, it looks like an old school college campus building. It's like brick and beautiful and was built in the 20s.
Old, yeah.
And then inside, it's like brand new and renovated.
Ah, right up your alley then.
And
okay, cool.
It's
So it's historic, but not crappy.
Exactly right.
Yeah.
8,000 seats right on top of the floor, and it just rocks. Like I saw St. Joe's play Temple there when in the 3 years that I lived out in Philly, and it was unbelievable atmosphere. It was so cool. That's number 8 for me. Number 7, the Camp Nou. That's Barcelona's stadium.
Oh, you said there's going to be some soccer stuff.
There'll be some soccer stuff on here. So Barcelona, of course, one of the biggest soccer clubs in the world. The stadium holds like 90,000 people.
And you were there.
I was there.
Okay, you're not. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. It's old, and it's historic, and they've done a bunch of renovations to it. But it's just the way that it's designed. It's so vertical. Like there's not a bad seat in the house, if that makes sense.
Oh, okay.
It's not built out wide. It's built vertically.
So it's like steep to get to your seat.
It's like
but then you're looking right down.
Exactly right.
Okay.
Exactly right. And there's like this really cool like walkway bridge to get into it. And there's like Diego Maradona and Pele and all these guys that played there.
Yeah.
Right in the middle of a neighborhood in Barcelona. Pretty cool.
Oh, I
Pretty
bet
cool.
that's nice.
That's number 7. Number 6, down in Atlanta, the home of the Falcons, Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
Really?
I love it.
Okay.
It's so cool. It's very nice. It's easy to get around. The roof opens and retracts and all that stuff. The whole interior is red and black, which is like the Falcons colors, and Atlanta United, which is the MLS team that plays there. I think I've said this to you before, but I've worked 3 games there now for the Steelers, 2 regular season games and a preseason game. I want to just go to, like, next summer when the World Cup is here, or this coming summer. One of my best friends lives in Atlanta, too, so I'd have a place to stay. I would really like to go to a World Cup game at Mercedes-Benz Stadium. I want to go to a game there just as a spectator and just be able to drink beer and walk around. And
just be a total fan.
It's like a palace. It's so nice.
So we visited friends in Atlanta a couple summers ago, and we were right next to it. We ate lunch right next there, and it was we didn't go in, but it was very impressive.
It's really cool.
I'm not bashing on them, but it'd be cool if they had better fans.
It'd be very cool if they had a better they had a better atmosphere. That's number 6. Number 5, you want to talk some history. These next couple are very historic. Number 5, Lambeau Field.
How can you not? Right.
How can you not?
I've never been there, but of course.
Especially since the renovations that they've done to it. It is another one of those blend of history and tradition with a lot of cool new modern amenities and touch to it as well. I think I told you this story, but I actually haven't gone to a game there at Lambeau, but I got a tour of the entire place, got to go out on the field when I was with the hockey team, the Youngstown Phantoms that I worked for out of high school. Yeah. Or out of college, pardon me. The Packers, long story short, were there in Green Bay. There's a hockey team in Green Bay as well, too, that has an arena right by Lambeau. It's like the Saturday of the game. We're all walking around, just checking out Lambeau and that whole, it's almost like a campus there. And the Packers equipment manager at the time, I don't know if he still is, this would have been 2015, 2016, about 10 years ago, was from Canada. And so was a big hockey fan. So he saw us all wearing our Youngstown Phantoms jackets, and he's like, "You guys with the Phantoms?" He's like, "Oh, I follow you guys. I love watching the league. Like, hey, come in here. You want to check it out?" Took us into the locker room, took us out on the field, walked us around the whole atrium, Packers museum area.
The behind the scenes.
Very cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Very cool. It just so much history. It's fantastic. If you're a football junkie, you should get to Lambeau at some point.
Okay. Oh yeah, no doubt.
Number 3 on this list, Matt, and it is the only one on this list that is no longer standing. You can't go here. The Joe Louis Arena in Detroit, Michigan. Yeah. The home of the Red Wings forever. They just built Little Caesars Arena a few years ago where now the Red Wings and the Pacers play. But the Joe was a dump, and I mean that in the best way possible.
Yeah.
It was a historic dump. I mean,
Gordie Howe,
Steve Yzerman, and all these great Red Wings legends. I got to play there, and I got to go to a Penguins Red Wings Stanley Cup game there.
So you skated on the ice
in 2008. It's just, it was one of those incredibly intimate, incredibly tight. It's a tight venue, you know what I mean? They packed 18,000 people in there like sardines.
Wow.
And just the history of the place, the smell of the place.
I'd say it's probably got the smell of must.
The atmosphere, it was just awesome. It was so cool, and I'm so glad that I got to go to a game there, a big game, a Stanley Cup game before they knocked it down. Number 3, Death Valley in Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
Night game?
Night game.
Nice.
WVU LSU. I know I've told you that story
before. I know your road trip
story, yeah. Yeah, rented the rugby vans and, drove 18 hours each way. It's another one of those, it's got the same kind of bowl that's been there for 80 years or whatever, 100 years, but they've built it up a lot. The upper deck is brand new. The entire area around the stadium is so cool. People just, it's some of the coolest tailgating you'll ever imagine. And the way, I don't know what it is, what they did with the acoustics somewhere there, Matt, but the place just rocks. It vibrates.
Yeah.
And so again, tradition, atmosphere, history.
Night game takes it up a level.
It up a level. I want to go back there for another game is how much fun it was. That's number 3, Death Valley, LSU. Number 2, SoFi Stadium, where the Steelers will be playing this weekend.
That's why this has come up.
It's incredible.
I've heard. It's open air, which is unbelievable.
It's a stadium that is covered, but it's also open air.
It's like a pavilion.
It's it looks like a stingray is floating above the stadium. That's the best way for me to describe it. It's all open air, but it's still covered. It's so nice. The Jumbotron is the entire length of the football field. It's unbelievable.
The weather's always good.
The weather's great. Yeah, you get that nice light California breeze rolling in, Matt. It's really cool. It is.
They have the fountains out front and stuff too, and just seen it on TV.
It's awesome. It's so cool. It's got all the amenities. It's really well built. There's not a bad seat in the house. I love SoFi Stadium. I do, and I'm excited to get back there for just the second time this weekend. And then number 1, Matt, the Santiago Bernabéu, which is
Whoa.
the home of Real Madrid
Oh, okay.
and Madrid, Spain. So I actually did both of these in the same year in 2011 when I did 10 days in Spain with my family, and that was like the two things that I wanted to do was Barcelona soccer game, Real Madrid soccer game.
Okay. So you're there during the season.
It's like Matt, it's unbelievable. It's like a castle, holds 100,000 people.
Whoa.
And
They fill it every time.
it's
too.
one of the best. I mean, everything that you would think about like a traditional like European soccer game atmosphere. Everyone wears white. Like they've got the drums, they've got the flags. It's out of control.
Singing
I did a tour of it as well too. So I got to go to a game there, and I did the tour the day before. And it's just walking around it. It's a marvel. Like it's kind of like a Lambeau Field. Like you can just walk around it and be like, oh my goodness! Like the architecture of it is unbelievable. Looks like a castle.
That's cool.
So cool. The history there as well too. I like these. It's much like the Steelers. Like I like how the Steelers stadium is right downtown.
Yeah.
You know, it's not like that's the one thing about SoFi is it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You know, the one thing about Lambeau, it's kind of in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Some of these stadiums like MetLife, you know what I mean?
I know,
that
like
are
New England's in the middle
New
of nowhere.
England in the middle of nowhere. The Bernabeu is right in the middle of Madrid. I mean, it's 3 blocks away from the heart of downtown Madrid. So like, you know, you could go get lunch and sangria and paella and
always something going on.
walk right to the game. You know, like
That's awesome.
Just fantastic stuff. And it was the architecture of it so cool, the atmosphere of it so cool. It's open air, but they've got like these overhangs so that you're protected from the rain and the weather elements and stuff. It was awesome. I would love to go back there again someday.
That's a cool list.
So that's my best of the West. Coolest.
I don't know
stadiums
much
I've
to
ever been
contribute. I haven't been to a ton, but I was going to throw out a couple little things. At Pitt, when we went to A&M, was pretty awesome.
Dude, that's on my list. Kyle Field.
It was pretty awesome, and we beat them. That was like Larry's coming out game, and they were like so nice to you when they left. You know, like they're saluting and clapping for you when you left.
Yeah.
Like when we beat WVU, they'd throw feces at us. Or
Yeah,
something.
correct.
Or of course. The other one, as a Pitt visitor, we did twice at Notre Dame, was pretty cool.
That would be sweet.
And the thing that stood out to me was the how sweet it is and how cool it is. But like the locker room is like as big as this is big. I mean, it's ungodly terrible. I mean, like there's like a couple nails for the poor kids to like hang their stuff.
Sure.
I remember our coaching staff, it was either 1 or 2 of us could shower at a time because it's
Jeez.
so small.
Yeah.
And then the guys that are in the booth, they watch the game from the booth, they call the game, and then for halftime, they get on an elevator. They have to go outside the stadium, run like 180 degrees to the other side while people yell at you.
Yeah.
Come in to coach their kids up at halftime. By then, it's already time for the second half.
Time for the second half.
Right. Our O-line coach like 70 years old. I mean,
Oh my god.
it was like such a terrible advantage. They're like, this place is horrible, but it's kind of awesome.
But it's kind of cool at the same time.
And I'll tell the story some other time. But I also, when I was at Pitt, I was very fortunate that the first 6 months or so, I gave many, many tours. Put your hard hat on. Folks, this is going to be Heinz Field.
That's awesome.
You know, so
That's very cool.
Which it was pretty cool.
Very
I'm
cool.
like, oh, this wasn't here last time I toured there like once a week.
Sure.
Take recruits through their family. I'm like, these are the beer lines. You know,
Yeah,
this
yeah.
is where your locker room's going to be. You know, so
That's
that was really awesome.
And
right?
every time you get to see what
It's
new,
always something
what
new, right? Yeah.
Stuff
Oh,
they've
now
done.
they're putting the
That's
field in, or right?
When you were with Pitt, did you ever get a chance to go to Cincinnati? Did you ever play at Nippert Stadium?
No,
It's pretty cool.
is it?
It's smaller. I think it only holds like 38,000 people, but it's like smack dab intimate in the middle of their campus.
Oh, really?
It's really cool.
Okay.
It's real like something like that. I think and I know there's no room in Oakland and all that, but
That's where
that would
should
be like an ideal like on campus type stadium for Pitt. Nippert at Cincinnati is really cool as well too. I do kind of regret that I never went to a WVU game at Oklahoma or at Texas while we were. So I've been to Austin, Texas a couple times, and the stadium there looks incredible.
I'm sure it's big and crazy. and,
Oklahoma, the Palace on the Prairie, I've heard amazing things about. But hey, maybe we'll add those to the
you
list.
get time.
Add those to the list one day. But that is the list, the best of the West, coolest, favorite stadiums, arenas, parks that I've ever been to. When we come back on the other side, Matt, I did want to get into, you sent me some interesting stuff on special teams and turnovers and how they contribute to team success. let's do that and talk about how the Steelers have been doing very well in that department. We'll get back into some Steelers conversation on the other side when we return. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Back on The Drive here on a Wednesday, coming down the home stretch. Wes Uhler and Matt Williamson with you. And Matt, you sent me, well, to be fair, you sent me a lot of interesting stuff.
Here and there, yeah.
It is funny. I always love it. I could tell like how much work you were doing based on how many emails you send me in a given night.
You can also check my Twitter account too. Yeah.
I'm thankful for it though. I want to be very clear on that. Like I enjoy it.
Wednesday night's a big one. This is Matt Stats gets turned in tonight.
So, it's a big night.
So there's like 3 more spots I have to hit after my night show tonight that put the final touches on it. Yeah.
I love it. I'm excited to get it. You sent me kind of the first draft yesterday, and I do. It's like I don't even have to go searching for content anymore. You just spoon feed it right into my inbox, baby. Special teams and turnover contributions this NFL season.
It's pretty nuts.
Weeks 1 through 9 in the National Football League. So how many total points you're gaining through turnovers, how many total points you're gaining on special teams. Matt, the Steelers are like in a stratosphere of their own.
Yeah, I just cut and paste this from Pro Football Focus. I mean, their titles on there. I'm not trying to. I don't create graphs or anything like that, but I cut and paste them as well as anybody else. And our listeners can't see it, but it's actually on my Twitter feed at Williamson NFL. If you just want to see the graphic, because the graphic makes you go, "Whoa." You know, you're like the best in the league in both categories.
They're like an extreme outlier in both categories.
Yeah, and I did an entire podcast on this today. And to be honest, about this time of the year, every year, they're right there. You know, like it's not Tomlin voodoo or this magic. You know, it's like they really stress these areas, and they're great at it. And it turns. How do you have a winning record every year in a row? And well, you're really good in the kicking game, and you're really good on turnovers. You know.
And you know who is kind of in the...
I'd say you look at the other opposite end.
The Chargers.
Or like the worst combination
them and
in
the
league.
Saints are the worst combination.
Not a good company to keep.
No, it's not. And this is... You're absolutely right. When you look at the consecutive winning seasons, when you look at the record in one-score games...
Yeah.
This
helps when you're great on special teams.
Stuff like this, when you're great on special teams, when you're great on points off of turnovers, that's how you raise your floor.
Yeah. They're undefeated this year in games they've won the turnover battle. 4-0.
And, you know, they, as long as they've had Chris Boswell, except for that 1 year where he was injured, it's felt like special teams has been a net positive.
1,000%.
And
but I also think it's
block a punt every year. They always get some type of big
Let's give Danny
splash
Smith
play.
a lot of credit.
Yeah.
And I also think organizationally they stress it at least as much as anyone else. You know, like since I've been paying attention to analytics in any form, Football Outsiders was like way ahead of the curve. They've been around since like the early 80s. And they would always they pretty much always said special teams every year is very random. Like if you're good on special teams last year, who knows if you will be or not. But during like there's about a 15-year stretch there when every year the Ravens and Patriots were in the top 5. They were the only two. Belichick stressed it like crazy. Harbaugh's a former special teams coach. He had Tucker. The Patriots had good kickers too. But now the Steelers are in that category too, where if you want to bet on who's going to be DVOA top 5 special teams next year, not even knowing who's on your roster, Steelers should be your first bet. You just absolutely should. And I think Danny Smith has something to do with it. Really good kicker, which is huge. But they also do things like bring up 2 running backs off the practice squad who aren't ever going to touch the football. Just for one game for special teams, right? Or keep Killebrew and I know Hayward does more than that, but Pierre and Hayward, I think they more than any team in the league, or as much as these 5 spots on the roster are for special teamers that can get us out of games, but they're here for one reason. You know what I mean?
They value that.
They value that.
You and I talk about it, Dale. We would talk about this every training camp, how the Steelers devote more time to those special teams periods than just about anybody.
And that's I said that today on the other podcast I did was I don't watch other teams' practices. Of course, I'm not at the Chargers practice, the Packers practice, but I know the Steelers dedicate a lot of time to it too.
Yes, they do, and it's shown up and it's working. That was
They've used a lot of like 7th-round picks on pure special teamers too.
They just did with a Carson Bruner.
Right.
Yep. Matt, before we go to break here, we'll close down with a couple tweets on the other side. I have to ask you one of our weekly Wednesday questions. It's time to pick a player from the Chargers roster to add to the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, there's a couple very obvious
Herbert's
ones
not allowed.
here. Herbert, we're just taking quarterbacks out of the equation.
Yeah.
Too easy.
Too easy. And with him, it'd be slam dunk.
Are we going to? I think it becomes more fun if we kind of like consider health.
That's why this one's really interesting to me.
And I didn't word that properly, but should we do it as if Rashawn Slater and Joe Alt are healthy?
No, you have to know exactly.
So here
you
today,
pick
Wednesday,
them today.
November. Well, is it bad to say that I would probably still take Joe Alt and just?
I think I would too. Like,
even if I knew he wasn't going to play for the rest of this year.
I would love my team doctor to evaluate Slater and Alt and be like, are either one of these a total reject? Because that's who I'm taking.
Sure.
And if it was 2 weeks ago, I'd say it's Alt for sure because he was healthy and awesome. McConkey would come into the mix a little.
He's an interesting
He's
one.
much more than just a slot, folks, and he's cheap. He's on and he's healthy. He can help me win right now. No one on defense. Not that their defense is bad, but there's not someone there. It's like
you're not going to pay Derwin James that money
No,
for safety.
I don't see one guy that would just like make you so much better. I think it's still Alt.
I think it is too.
Yeah.
It's a premier position.
Right.
You'd still have him on his rookie contract for a couple more years.
It'd be nice if I knew that he's ready
fine
for training camp next year.
Yes.
That's all I really need. Just check that box for me, and I'm ready to roll.
I am.
And sorry, Broderick, but I'll take Alt over, your left tackle. Right.
Matt, if it's a year or two from now and Joe Alt is the consensus best tackle in football, I don't think that would surprise any of us.
No. Right.
He's that good.
Yeah, absolutely. Like every draft class, I do this little exercise in my head too to get in the weird world of Matt Williamson. And who would I pick out of this class?
That sounds like a fun off-season
We'll do
content.
off-season
Weird
stuff,
world of Matt Williamson once a week. And
when the draft comes out, though, I look at it and be like, who has the best chance in this draft to be a Hall of Famer?
Okay.
And I think Alt was
Joe Alt your pick?
He was definitely one of my finalists because guys like that play a long time. And, you get 12 years of that dude, that's a Hall of Famer. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Left tackle.
I'm putting this in my notes on my iPhone right now. Weird world of Matt Williamson. I'll remember what that means when the time comes. Yeah, I just think even if you were not going to have him for the rest of this year, it's still
and you won't
relatively
so be it, right?
Still relatively a no-brainer for me.
Yeah, you drop that guy out of the sky in the offseason and add him to your line.
Oh,
you got the best O-line in the league.
Unbelievable.
And assuming he doesn't have any long term. And Slater wouldn't be bad.
No.
Slater's a great left tackle.
Joe Alt's still 22.
Yeah.
He hasn't even turned 23 yet.
Wow.
Or did he maybe just turn 23?
No,
but regardless.
He's still a pop, right. He's in his second season. Right?
That's crazy. Yeah.
But, most teams, I'd be thrilled to take Slater. Slater, to me, is a top 5 left tackle when healthy, too.
100%.
Yeah.
I would happily take either. Joe Alt, buddy. Same birthday as me, February 28th.
Ah, nice.
All the cool kids are born in February. Joe Alt will not even turn 23 until February.
Wow.
Good Lord. Yeah, that's the guy.
Yeah. Daddy was a tackle. He was bred to be a tackle. Yeah.
You think Joe Alt wants to hang out on our birthday?
Yeah. I ever tell you the Kenny Pickett story?
I don't think so.
Kenny Pickett and I we're both June 6th.
Are you?
And that was mini camp.
Yeah.
Yeah, every year we're always broadcasting right down there.
We're always at the combine for my birthday and always at mini camp and OTAs for your birthday.
And I remember going in there and there's this huge birthday cake on June 6th for QB1 at the time. Yeah, and I kept joking on the air. I'm like, you guys didn't have to do this for me. Right.
One more segment. That's funny. One more segment to go on the other side. We'll close this thing down with a couple of your tweets before we get up out of here. Wes Uhler, Matt Williamson. It's The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio on the Steelers Audio Network. Final segment here on a Wednesday. Matthew, what do you say we close it down with some tweets?
All right, I love it.
Let's get after it. As always, you can tweet us any time of the day. If they're good, I'll bookmark them and we'll get to them. Or if we just need some content from time to time as well, too.
Yeah, they could always fill a segment.
At Wesley Uhler, at Williamson NFL is where you find the duo of The Drive on Twitter. Steel Curtain tweets us and says, You guys were talking about Dak yesterday. Would like to know what you think of him potentially being a Pittsburgh Steeler.
I've linked him to Steelers for 3 years now.
You talked about this a lot last offseason.
Yeah. I love him. I think he's so good above the neck and is such a cerebral, good player that's playing great right now. But coincidentally, I do a show, Locked On Dynasty, just every Wednesday. And one of the other co-hosts is Marcus Mosher. And he actually was on with Dale and I like a year ago. I forget why we had him on.
He's a Dallas guy, right?
He also does Locked On Cowboys.
Okay.
So he is a Dallas. He lives in Erie, but he covers the Cowboys amongst many other things he does. Anyway, I was chatting with him before we recorded this morning about the Quinn and Williams trade. And he said what he thinks the Cowboys are doing isn't trying to, it's not a win now move. Quinn and Williams is going to make us win the Super Bowl this year. It's for next year because they are. And I asked him, are they all in on Dak, or are they just want picks? He's like, no, they're all in on Dak for next year. So I don't think he's going anywhere. Lamb's under contract. The whole O-line's under contract. Williams and Clark, the two defensive tackles.
They'll probably sign Pickens.
They'll probably keep Pickens, and then they have all these picks that are going to draft defense, youth, speed, and take their shot next year with Dak. So I don't think I don't think he's going anywhere. But if you told me right now, Rodgers retires, Dallas says, give us your first-round pick for Dak, yes. I mean, even a first-rounder. I mean, at his age. Get 3 or 4 years out of him and draft one in 4 years instead of then, he'd be a pretty good team. I love him.
I think if Aaron Rodgers retires and you're not able to get one of these top 2 or 3 quarterbacks out of college, I would be very interested.
I'd be very interested. I just don't think he's going to be on the block.
The way you laid it out there, makes sense. Brad tweeted us and said, hypothetical, it's the 2026 draft, okay?
Yeah.
Omar Khan's got all these picks, but not enough to get up and nab one of the top quarterbacks that he wants.
Yeah.
What would you do? Would you potentially trade up and try and grab a stud at another position? Do you stay pat and just follow your big board? Do you maybe trade any picks from 26 to try and get better capital in 27?
I would probably do at least one of those moves. And it might not be a colossal move where you get future firsts or anything, but if you have an extra third, if you could turn into a second next year, I'm all ears on that. Because it's the thing people don't think about. It's it's great to have a ton of picks, but sometimes you don't have enough roster space for them all to make a team even. So I wouldn't mind combining picks once or twice during the draft, where you take 2 fifths and you move up to the front of the fourth, or you take a fourth and you turn it into next year's third. So that would be in the cards for me. Maybe I would take a shot on the 3rd round quarterback, but I think I want to go big or go home on the next quarterback. When that just fell out of my mouth, I'm like, I'm not doing it.
I want to buy a Rolls Royce or nothing.
Exactly. I am swinging for the fences, and if I miss, I'm going to swing the next year, And I already got Howard, I don't need another young guy just to have another young guy. But even if Broderick Jones is awesome and you pick up his 5th-year option, I'm drafting at least 1 lineman, if not 2, for depth, a tackle and an interior guy, because you have picks, and that's just a hard place to get. And one of the things I said about the whole wide receiver trade deadline stuff is, well, if you're going to need a receiver next year, why not get one now ahead of the deal if they're under contract?
Yeah.
So maybe my 1st-round pick would be a wideout, maybe. Also,
keep building that nest for whoever your next quarterback is.
Man coverage corner is another thing to look at.
Absolutely.
Someone that can be 3 years, 4 years younger than Porter, that has 1st-round traits. So, I'm not killing anyone in the organization, but these are facts. It's been 6 or 7 draft classes, Porter aside, they have not drafted a corner in the first 6 rounds. Every corner they've drafted besides Porter is a 7th rounder. It's Kent.
Probably Cam Sutton was the last one before Joey Porter Jr.
Yeah, and frankly, they weren't real successful at it. It was like Lane and Sutton.
That's the one thing that would always, because people would always,
they can't develop corners.
Steelers can't draft corners. The track record was not there,
right?
But they were all in the 5th and 6th and 7th round. It's not like they were whiffing on the 20th overall pick at corner.
Exactly, and frankly, that's one of the problems. It's why you can't get tackles late either. The good ones are gone
Certain
already.
positions are luxury positions.
Yeah,
man.
you're not bad
I
enough
want
to
to shop
take.
at Rolls Royce and Mercedes Benz, and you know,
You're not bad enough to take Sauce Gardner and Stingley. It's not like they wouldn't. You're just they don't last till the 20th pick. So they've had a lot of call them retreads, veterans, or whatever. That's what they've done at corner, and you know it's not great. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. I don't think it's an organizational philosophy, but I wouldn't mind another high pedigree draft pick corner.
I concur. And speaking of that, Christopher tweets us and says, at what point does the Around Campus segment start looking at other draft-eligible positions, namely wide receivers or corners, which is seeming more likely now? Christopher, soon as the season ends, buddy.
Yeah.
We
can even throw one in next week or whatever.
Yeah,
right.
I kind of started the Around Campus with the college, quarterbacks. One, to bring some college football conversation into the show.
Yeah, which I like, yeah.
Two, because of the direct parallel of when you have a 41-year-old quarterback, there's a really good chance you could be drafting one, and because there were so many big names from big programs this year.
Yeah.
But don't worry, we will do all of our position groups and start really deep diving into all that stuff in January.
And I promise everyone, as I learn more about the draft, I will tell you guys more about the draft. I have a hard time studying. I know like the top 50 players, but I can't tell you the 8th best guard in the draft right now.
Correct. Oh, I'll tell you this though: the best tackles in the draft might be both of those guys from Utah. My goodness, are they incredible?
It looks like what I have picked up on. It's another good tackle draft if you happen to need one, and if it's not going to be the year you get your quarterback and you decide not to pick up Broderick, you might have to go back to that well. And a lot of folks that I trust did not come in this year particularly excited about the receiver class, and they are changing their mind in a hurry.
I really like that kid from USC. Yeah, we'll talk some more. Maybe we'll
Louisville's got a guy. Yeah. I mean, like there's more than you thought.
Maybe we will add some wide receivers to the conversation here before the season ends. We'll see how we can make that all work out. Last one, Matt. Get out on an optimistic note here from Jeffrey. He says, let's remember the Steelers beat the current 1 and 2 seeds in the AFC, lost to the current number 1 in the power rankings, Seattle Seahawks. It would have been nice to add another wide receiver at the deadline, but I think this team just needs to play disciplined football, and they'll go out to L.A. and beat the Chargers 30-19. An early score prediction from Jeffrey here this week.
I do think it's noteworthy that the Patriots lost, the Seattle lost, or they didn't. They beat the Patriots.
Beat the Patriots.
The Patriots
beat the Colts.
win. The Colts win, and the Seahawks loss. Look a lot better now than the day they happened.
Absolutely.
Well, not the Colts. The Colts is recent.
Yeah.
But losing to Seattle is nothing to hang your head about.
Especially away from home, because all they do is win on the road.
Yeah,
it's
right.
unbelievable.
They do. It's unbelievable.
Matt, good stuff today. I enjoyed it. We were kind of touched on a lot of different bases today, and I enjoyed the variety of the Wednesday show. But tomorrow it will be back to
Charger stuff, huh?
Back to Charger stuff. We'll deep dive into Matt's stats. We'll catch up with Bob Labriola. We'll do all of our early scouting.
Practice reports,
injury reports, all that good stuff, and all of our early scouting, of course, too, of those Los Angeles Chargers. But that'll do it for us today. Big thanks to Chris Halleck for joining us. And, of course, our video producer, Mr. TV, Tyler V, for making sure we look handsome on YouTube. For Matt Williamson, I'm Wes Uhler. Take care, everybody. We'll talk to you tomorrow. You've been listening to The Drive on Steelers Nation Radio, your 24/7 home of the black and gold, the Steelers Audio Network.